Hey guys, so we're going to focus on our first learning goal of being able to describe the characters, the people's actions in the text, the Marisara Dig, the story of Dr. Holly Woodward Bullard. We read it all yesterday, and that was a very long passage, but have no fear. We are not going to read the whole thing all over again. We're just going to choose a section and carefully look to see how the characters respond, how they feel, what they do, all that good stuff. So, looking at our text, let me get all situated because we're doing a close read. We are rereading it. We are looking closely at one section, and we're going to stop and think about it a lot. And with our handy dandy scribbles all over, we're going to mark up important ideas. Not like this, obviously, but written notes on the side to help us make sure we know what's going on. So let's quick review some things. If you're watching someone or with someone, take some time and review what this passage was about. Remember, it's about a paleontologist. Ever since she was a little girl, she loved dinosaurs, and she spent her whole life preparing to study for dinosaurs. She had a mentor. She had someone older who, remember, he went out to go find, and he found a really cool area with tons of bones, and he gave her one job: to find the tiniest bone. When we're looking at this, there is a beginning, a middle, and an end in all stories. If you don't have a beginning, middle, end, it's not interesting. I mean, think about it. Once upon a time, there was a girl. The end. There is no beginning, there is no middle, there is no end. We need to look for that as much as possible. So, I read, I want you to follow along, and I want you to think through some things. First off, in the beginning of this, give me 1 second. It's not working with me. My computer does not want to help me today. That's how technology goes sometimes, huh? In looking at this is going to be your next activity. Let me get it alongside. Thanks for being patient. On your own, you're going to have to think through the beginning of it. The situation. Where was she? What kind of tools did she have? Kind of sets up what it's all about. Then there's actually two middle parts. You can have lots of middle parts, but they want us to describe when she found it and how she responded. And then in the end, if it said she found a fossil, the end, it's not a good story. So that's what we're going to be looking for and looking at. And when I have it like this, it doesn't want. So let me show you the next thing. So I'm learning this as we go. Let's do this one more time. Make sure I show you the right thing. And here we go. So let's see. The search for the tiniest bones. Remember who's telling the story. It's the paleontologist, Dr. Bullard. Every bone discovery is exciting for me, but you might be surprised to hear that the smallest Marisara bones, not the largest, are the most thrilling to find. Now, she's using a lot of words to help me understand, like some emotions that she feels. I'm going to use, green is my favorite color, so I'm going to use green. Let's see. She gets excited. She is thrilled to find things. And why? Why is she excited and thrilled? Because we still know very little about how the dinosaurs grew up from tiny hatchlings into adults. So the tiniest bones can give us the most important clues. That's just an introduction. It doesn't really tell me the beginning of her story. On my latest dig at the Brevold Quarry in the Egg Mountain area. Ooh, so that's where she was. So I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use brown because that's kind of like the earth. That's where she was on earth. I was on a hunt for baby bones. But there were so many bones in the quarry. How could I find a tiny bone? How could I find a tiny bone in the piles of big bones? I wasn't sure my search would be successful. Ooh, that's another emotion she had. She wasn't sure. Maybe like uncertain. The area where my crew and I were digging is surrounded by hilly grassland. Being a detective, kind of like a paleontologist, she's in the hilly grasslands. The grass is normally a deep green, but it was beginning to turn golden yellow from the summer sun and heat. We could see the jagged, rocky mountains to the west. Man, when you slow down and reread, look at all my brown boxes. That's like everywhere. She's describing so specifically where she's at. I can almost see it in my head. The Brentwood Quarry is about 64 square meters. A crew that had been there before us had already removed about 15 feet of rock. This exposed the fossil layer. At first, we needed to remove the sediment on top so we could get more of the bones. We used shovels and pickaxes to scrape off the settlement. Ooh, now she's kind of telling us what she did. I would like to use a silver because that's like a tool, but I don't have silver. I'm going to use purple. So what did she use? She used shovels, pickaxes, and then we loaded the dirt and rock into a wheelbarrow and removed it from the site. Sometimes the rocks were so hard, we even had to use a jackhammer. So as you see, I'm doing this close read. I'm marking my paper. It's helpful to mark papers. And I just think it makes me look super smart. Different colors, my eyes. Okay, green automatically shows me how she's feeling. So I don't have to reread the whole passage. Oh, exciting, thrilling, wasn't sure. What kind of tools? Just look at the purple boxes. Shovels, pickaxes, wheelbarrows, jackhammer. Before long, we were only about 2 feet above the bone layer. We started using smaller hand tools, more tools, like awls, whisk brooms, and brushes. Gently, we removed the rest of the sediment and uncovered the bones. So there we go. Ooh. There were so many bones. We found them almost anywhere we dug. I wonder how she felt with that. If I wanted to, I could say, okay, she must have felt, okay, oh wait, I'm gonna use green because that's emotion. I think she felt excited. Could you imagine bones everywhere? We could spot them in the gray mudstone because of their dark black color. We could also identify them by the sound, that's so crazy, they would make when scraped by the awl. The bones sound like porcelain or glass, when scraped, but the mudstone sounds more dull. The shape and texture were our last clues. Bones are usually symmetrical in shape if a bone is broken and the inside looks sort of spongy. Every time we found a bone, we would record it. That's not really an emotion, but it's something that she did. So I'm going to put that in a box. Not a purple box, a green box. We used meter squares in the fields and grid paper. Those are more tools. Meter squares and grid paper. Data collection is so important in paleontology. It can help us understand the environment where the bones were buried and the age of the rocks. Sometimes we can even figure out the cause of death. Okay, so we know what happened at the beginning. We have an idea where she's at, what she's doing, what she's wanting to find. Let's see. It was nearing the end of our time at the Brandvold Quarry. We had found so many bones, but I was beginning to think we wouldn't find any tiny ones. Ooh. Emotion, how she's feeling. She doesn't tell me right out, but I'm thinking she's feeling nervous. I'm going to write that there so I won't forget. I carefully removed pieces of mudstone from a... Oh, wait. But then, on one of the last days, a tiny black line caught my eye. We know what's going to happen. Then I gently... Oh, I'm jumping some lines. I carefully removed pieces of mudstone from around the bone. Then I gently brushed the bone surface, applying a special glue to the bone as I went. Once the entire surface was uncovered, I could see that it was a tiny Marasarma femur. The bone was only about 15 centimeters long, about 5.5 inches. At last, I found the tiny bone. So there we go again. We see that she found the bone. This is the middle part. So I'm going to put pink. She found it, and how did she do it? She carefully removed it, and she found, oh wait, that's not pink. Messed up. There we go. She found her tiny bone. What did she do? So she first found it. I'm going to write that. Found the bone. And then listen, look at this. I recorded my find. So she not only found it, but she also recorded the find or the bone. Same thing. These notes help me be a better close reader. It helps me know what it's about. And what emotions does she feel? Let's see. I couldn't wait to tell my team. She couldn't wait. After the dig, I planned to take it back to my lab. She wanted to do something. Wanted to analyze the bone so I could learn, she has so many things she needs to do, more about the dinosaur's age and how fast it grew. Wow, so she has lots of things she needs to do. And then the final thing. At the end of my dig, my team and I were so excited, more excitement, about all of the Marasaur bones we found. We were the first humans to uncover the remains of these awesome creatures from 76 million years ago. And I was especially thrilled to have finally found the tiny femur. What an incredible feeling. So I'm thinking how this goes is that, how does the story end? She's just an excited person, right? She's excited and she's going to study. Going back to our previous page, she's going to study. So that's how I think the story ends. On your next slide, I need you to fill out your graphic organizer and refer back to this. This will be on the slide. Go back and make your own notes. Look at the pictures closely. Be a good, close reader. And I promise you, you'll be able to really see yourself grow as you exercise your brain in this way. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Bye.